Okay. So I'd like to start off by asking you a few questions to better understand your background with data analysis and spreadsheet tools. What
Okay.
is your current profession or role, and how long have you been working in that position?
My current role is business support specialist. Um, and I've only been at this specific role. It has been only for the last year. But before that, I was already a support specialist. I was customer support manager, and that was for 2.5 years before that.
Okay, great. So you've had some experience. So how often do you use spreadsheets in your work, and what do you usually use them for?
I use them on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day, um, for a few um, different purposes. One of them is to create um, to create a record of confirmation that our support reports have been sent out. So those are we used we use them. We have to go in manually and write down the time where the reports have been sent out to have a confirmation record. Um, we also have a lot of data manipulation that we have to do for price loads or new part load. So I work with or specs load. So it depends on what the user needs to be. We have a tool called the loader. There are actually three of them: pricing, proc, and spec loader, to load different things in the system in bulk. So if the user needs um, bulk specs loaded, we use the spec loader. If they need new parts or pricing, we use the price loader. Yeah, so we use
Okay,
them on a
so
regular
that's like,
basis.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. It sounds like you're pretty familiar with spreadsheets.
Yes,
So have you used Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets before?
yes, I've used both.
Okay, and how would you describe your current familiarity with Google Sheets?
With Google Sheets, I don't use as often as I do Microsoft Excel. So I'd say I am pretty good at it, pretty proficient at it, but obviously because I don't use it as often, it's probably going to be a little less um current, the information in my head basically.
Okay, no, that's great. And then have you used other Google products before, like Slides, Forms, Gmail, or any other thing that Google offers?
Yes, I use Gmail on a regular basis. I have my personal email is a Gmail. Forms I've used a few times. Um, but I think that's it. I can't remember any others.
It sounds like you've used a few, so that's great. So next, thank you for answering those questions.
Oh, I also use Google Calendar. That's one
Okay,
that I use a lot.
perfect. Thank you. So next I'll read you a short scenario followed by a set of tasks to complete in Google Sheets. So please note there are no right or wrong answers, actions, or approaches. This session is not a test of your skills. It's about understanding how different users interact with the software. And so we can help identify areas where we can improve usability. So throughout this brief session, I encourage you to think aloud as you work through the tasks, and I'll give you the task one at a time.
Okay.
This will help us gain a better understanding of your thought process and overall experience. And if you have any questions, I'm not sure I'll be able to answer them, but I can try to lead you in direction. So
Okay.
just try to think aloud and do your best. And it's not an assessment of your skills.
Okay.
So the first task is, could you navigate to Google Sheets with your Gmail credentials and open up the shared spreadsheet titled User Test 3?
I already have it open.
Oh, sorry. Can you share your screen?
Yes.
Okay. And just because I didn't see how you got here, would you mind? And this is one of the tasks. Could you
Oh,
actually show me again how you got to it?
yeah, of course. I opened my Gmail um, inbox, which was where you sent me the the spreadsheet, and I opened the email itself, and I clicked on open to direct me to the Google Sheets spreadsheet.
Hey, wonderful. So you've successfully completed the task one. Task two. Okay, can you please filter the data set to include only manufacturers from the United States and Canada?
Okay, for that, I would select the headers by pressing Shift and selecting all of the headers, the whole row, and I'd create a filter. You said United States and Canada?
Yes.
Okay. And then I filter down and remove all of the other, all two of the other countries, which is currently Germany and Mexico. So I have Canada and the United States left, and I click OK, and it's filtered down.
Okay, and thank you for thinking aloud, and that's perfect. You completed task two.
No problem.
So task three, calculate the total purchase amounts for these filtered manufacturers and put the number in a blank cell.
Um, for the filtered ones, or do I go back
Uh,
to
y-
all?
Sorry, yes, keep them on the filtered
Okay,
results and calculate the total purchase amounts
okay,
and put it in a blank cell.
okay. To do that, I would, since I already have it filtered, I would just go to the bottom of the column where it says total purchase amount, and I would use the functions, and in this case, it's going to be the sum function, and I'm going to select the the cells that I want added. So it's going to give me the result here after I've selected the all the ones that I like. I'm pressing enter, and it's going to give me the total on the bottom of the sheet.
Okay. So for this task,
Hmm.
can I ask you to double check if that's the total for all of these filtered results? Just
You want me to do the math separately?
well,
Is that
I guess how can I put this? So I'm not supposed to lead you, so this is actually a task that I'm probably going to edit this out of the video, but this is a task that everyone's got stuck on. So that's not actually the total, the sum of the all of those, because Sheets works a
because it's
little bit differently than
then
Excel.
Excel,
So I'm
it's
going to be
not
quiet.
doing. Okay. Uh, okay. So let me see if it works like this. If I copy and paste just these. And then I can do the total again, the sum again. Let's see if that, okay, that's better. So I had to
Yeah, that's
copy,
correct.
the values, paste it on a separate column, and then do the sum of those cells.
Okay, perfect. That's correct. Let's see. So finally, the last task that I have
Mhm.
is identify the top 5 manufacturers by purchase amount for the United States and Canada and highlight these cells with a light green background color.
Okay. To do that, since I'm using the total purchase amount, I would just still use my filter and sort instead of filtering. Sort A to Z, which is going to be, oh, in theory, yeah, it's correct. Actually, you said top 5?
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to be Z to A instead because it's the bigger numbers on the top first, and then it goes organizes to the bottom, and that reorganizes the whole table. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And do you want me to highlight the whole row or
Um,
just the numbers? Does it matter?
so highlight these cells with the light green background color. Oh
Light
yeah,
green,
just the numbers.
just the numbers.
I should have
Okay.
specified.
Okay. And I'm selecting the 5 numbers, and I'm going to go to fill color and pick this is dark green,
That's
apparently.
great. The light
That
green.
works?
Yep.
Okay, it's just because they call it dark green 3, so I just want to make sure that that worked for you. Okay, there you go.
Okay. That's awesome. So you successfully completed these tasks. Um, so I guess that I just have some follow-up
Yes,
questions for your feedback.
of course.
I guess I just kind of like to know what you like about Google Sheets and where you think it could be improved, so to speak, like what were some of the pain points and what did you like?
So pain point would for sure one of them be, even though the tabs were, or the rows were filtered down when I used the sum function, it added all of the rows, even the unfiltered ones. That's for sure a pain point. That's something that's having to copy and paste it. It's extra steps that I don't seem to think they're necessary. But it is pretty self-explanatory. The controls are right on the top here. So that is one of the great things about Google Sheets is you have a simplified um, menu on the top with all your most important functions, and there's not a lot going on, so it's easy to find, even if you're not used to using it. It's fairly user friendly.
Okay. And like being an avid Excel user, is there like do you still prefer Excel a lot more? And is there any main reasons why?
Um, I think I just prefer Excel because I'm used to it, and that's something that I use all the time. Um, Not only for work purposes, but for personal purposes, creating creating sheets. Um, it's usually easier for me just because I'm used to it. Um, and because basically all the companies that I've worked for ever, they use Microsoft Excel instead of Google Sheets. So,
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Well, that was the test for today, and I'm gonna stop the recording. So
okay.
thank you for participating. Let me stop this.
No problem.